With a flock of 650 sheep, it certainly helps to have a champion shearer on the farm. And quality control is also a key part of Susie's role.
I'm looking for the colour, so in the stein I want quite a white fleece, which we get from the merino that's in it. I'm also looking for the crimp that runs through it that will give it the memory for the knitters, so that's when it sort of will spring back. And just generally just making sure it's good quality over the whole animal rather than just on the shoulder where predominantly you would get the good fibre from.
Emma's sheep now make more than 4,000 kilos of fibre a year. But producing your own wool is a slow process.
Each production of yarn takes a year for the lamb to grow and a year for the wool to go off and get spun. And probably if I'd realised how long it would take to really develop this fine wool flock, maybe I would have thought twice.
Once the wool has been spun, it comes back to the farm ready for dyeing. Emma has developed her own unique colour palette, dyeing each and every fibre by hand.
I think the toughest thing is that because we are doing something which is quite unique, there's no book to follow. This is quite an old sample dyer. They're not made anymore because our textiles industry has all gone overseas, but it's a great way of dyeing a really uniform colour, and I'm very fond of it. Quite like the way it winches itself up. It's quite sort of satisfying to see that coming up. And it's as you can see, it's a really nice uniform colour, and you get this lovely sheen on the wool without any additives of silk. It does have a really beautiful shine.
After years of hard work and determination, Emma's yarns are now sold around the world, even in places you wouldn't imagine.
It's quite fortuitous. My sister lives in Alaska, and she started marketing our yarn in Alaska as well, which is fantastic.
Emma's love of colour goes beyond her dyes and wool. She's also re-establishing the dwindling flora around her.
I'm going up to a field which we call the mountain. It's chalk downland, which we've had in arable reversion for over 12 years now.
Her passion and determination is now paying off. Emma's list of returning wildflowers keeps expanding.
Every summer I come up and I look at what additions we've got to that list, and also how much those plants are spreading across the whole bank. They're not particularly special in the scheme of things, but it's really exciting when you see something that we haven't had before here start to come back because of the way we're managing it.
Running a farm and growing business requires plenty of willpower.
It does take a lot of blood, sweat and tears, but I used to work in the corporate world and there was never any passion there. I just couldn't see myself doing anything else but this.
Thankfully, Emma has a supportive family.
There we go, guys. Thank you, Polly.
Her daughters and husband Neil now all work together to keep the business going.
Neil's obviously very important. He's very much the infrastructure guy, and also he's my great sounding board commercially so that I don't get carried away too much.
Very good, Paul.
Thank you. Now, at the moment, I'm just helping out with Mum. I'm doing some admin and social media. Mum's just teaching me the ropes at the moment, aren't you? It's a lot to learn. I really enjoy the dyeing part of it. So, no, it's really exciting to learn more about that, I'd say.
Now this hard-working, first-generation farmer can celebrate her achievements, as she's been put forward for Diversification Farmer of the Year award by shepherdess Susie.
So you're pleased that I've nominated you?
Well, I'm really pleased, but I think Neil's still in a state of shock, seeing as the girls are insisting on all new dresses. And it's the downside of having 3 daughters and a wife.
I feel like because you're so passionate about it, for you to be rewarded like this, I think it'll be really great.
OK, let's look forward to a cracking evening at the awards. And,
Yeah. Let's hope it's champagne next time.
yeah, well said.
100 miles west, near Glastonbury in Somerset, is the 3rd finalist.
Let's see if all these are here this morning.
Michael and Jenny Churches, who live here on their 300-acre farm.
So they're all there and they're all present and correct. It's a family farm. I'm the 6th generation, so it's a dairy, sheep and beef farm. The dairy is a British Friesian herd that we milk, about 120.
They do look well, though. The coats are looking nice and shiny.
If you just stand the other side of the bridge, I'll open the gate and then we'll let them out. Come on, Flicky.
Following family tradition, Michael oversees the daily running of the farm, with wife Jenny as his right-hand woman.
Come on. Come on, then. Come on.
The couple first started dating 33 years ago.
Michael and I met through Young Farmers. I did have one ex-Young Farmer at the front door and Michael was at the back door. So my mum was running between the two to say no to one, and then this one stayed.
Come on, bring them on, Flick. Your mum was telling the other guy that you weren't there.
But we do know the other guy very well. Don't worry, he is happily married and got 3 children.
It all ends well, yeah. Right, that's those done.
Michael and Jenny went on to have children of their own. 24-year-old Rachel and 27-year-old Andrew, who both help on the farm.
I can't really see the children in any other life. They like the open space, they like the farm life, don't they? They're both interested in animals. They know that, you know, it's not always roses and it's not always high prices and fat profits and that. Sometimes you can have a real bad year.
Since they've been at the helm, Michael and Jenny have had their work cut out, keeping the farm afloat.
The farm is on the edge of the Somerset levels, so we do have quite a lot of trials with the weather and stuff like that. This land we're stood on now is only about 7 metres above sea level, so it is prone to flooding. That's another challenge, really. The floods in 2012, in July 2012, you know, it was a 100-year cycle. Then 3 years later, we had it again in 2015. You know, everything was just extremely hard work when it's all underwater. We lost a lot of land that cost a considerable expense. We didn't make any money that year. And that was years that you just wouldn't want to see again, you know.
To keep their family farm secure for future generations, Michael and Jenny made the bold decision to diversify. And with a surname like Churches, fate played a hand when their local church came up for sale, and they bought it.
It was right on our doorstep. It's all landlocked. And living near Glastonbury, we wanted to safeguard it, really. So we just thought it was in our hands to keep it safe for the future.
And we looked at all the assets we had and thought that that was an asset that could generate you know, a very successful business.
The Grade 2 listed church dates back to pre-Norman times and was closed, then deconsecrated in 1999. It was a massive project, but one that was close to their hearts.
We've got strong family ties with the church. My mother was church warden for 20-odd years. Great-great-great-grandparents are all buried in the churchyard. When it
Your
closed,
great-great-grandfather give the piece of land?
they couldn't find the deeds, ironically, when we purchased it, and I think it went back that great-great-grandfather probably done on a few beers and a few ciders and a handshake on a Sunday morning saying it was the highest place in the village to go on and build it. So it was quite ironic that we ended up back in our possession.
4 years ago, Michael and Jenny put their big plan to transform the church into a wedding venue into action.
I think anybody going into any diversity need to look. Don't go in blinkered. You need to do your homework, really. There was quite a few issues with damp, dry rot, woodworm. A lot of the masonry inside had to be hacked off and replastered. Some of the floor had to be relaid where it was woodworm and dry rot.
But after 3 years, the venue finally came to life.
So there's a considerable amount of work to be done to bring it back up to a higherable level, really, and restore it back to its former glory.
It's been a long road to get here.
After our first planning was turned down, I would have given up.
Yeah.
And I did say, let's just give up, cut our losses, and that's it.
You know, I was determined, and you know, at the end of the day, it's all paid off.
Sheer determination has resulted in a business that can really help protect this family from disaster.
All right, Andrew. All right, Rach. How you getting on?
Nearly there.
Nearly there.
I see.
Their calendar is now full of bookings.
All the family get involved. We just all get together and then just all muck in and do it,
It's the
don't
same
we?
with the farm.
Yeah,
Both
the farm.
Andrew and Rachel, we all do it. I usually do the cooking side of it, so I can cater up to 60. Rachel assists me, and Mike and Andrew really do the bar. We all sort of chip in.
It's all about supporting the local economy, really. So we do as much as we possibly can to source everything local.
The family's entrepreneurial talents have gone beyond the church, with son Andrew coming up with his own diversification.
So my son, he came back one day with an old horse box that he purchased and decided to convert it into a bar. Spent a lot of time on it. We put a new floor in it in the workshop, and he got a friend, carpenter friend, who'd done it all out in oak. And he does gin, and he does outside bars, cocktails, he does the lot.
What inspired me to make the horse box was to do something on my own as well, is help on the farm as much as I can as well. And sometimes farming, it can be quite secluded on your own, and obviously you're going out doing bars at different events, you're always speaking to different people and meeting different people. It's good to do some things different.
Branching out was a big risk for the family, but now their church venue is a success. They have the stability they craved.
A few weeds and that just to pull out, and then it should be looking all tip-top ready. Shouldn't take too long. It hasn't got the volatility like the food and the farming side of it, so that when one is down in the doldrums, so be it the beef or the sheep or the dairy, then this actually sort of supplements that. It's taking a long time and a lot of determination, a lot of sweat and blood to get this far, but now it's finally beginning to pay off and reaping the benefits.
Michael and his family have worked hard to create a new endeavour, building the foundations for their future.
I think it's nice to be able to make it ready for the next generation. You know, not just my children, but their children as well. You know, grandchildren and the future to come. Which is a bit scary. Oh, that's good.
After years of perseverance, Michael and Jenny have earned their place on this year's shortlist for the Diversification Farmer of the Year.
Just imagine that if we got through and won it.
God, it would put us on the map, wouldn't it, really? Goodness.
You need to get all glammed up as well. What are you going to wear?
I have to get the suit out.
What are you going to wear, Rach?
I got my best frock out.
What about you, Mike?
Oh, I have to get my best overalls out.
My mum and dad have put such hard work into it all. So as a family business, it's an amazing achievement to get as far as we have. And I think if we do win, it would just be amazing for us all.
Cheers.
Cheers to London. Cheers.
Best of luck.
Best of luck.
Our 3 finalists have taken their ambitious ideas and worked tirelessly to transform their farms. Now they have the opportunity to celebrate all they have achieved at the awards evening.
To win this award would be a recognition of 12 years hard work by both Susie and I, and to have such an important award within the industry would be absolutely amazing.
It'll just be really exciting, I think, just to say that you've won that award, because it's such a big one. If we won, it probably would give us more confidence to invest in the next step.
Yeah, I think it's massive.